Today I'm painting a Bulbasaur figure. Watch till the end to find out how to get your own. You will need a few paints. Grab a light greeny blue, not a bluey green, a red, white, and a dark green. Water, a paintbrush, and a can of prime and paint. Here we have our Bulbasaur. We must sand the figure all over to make sure the paint and primer will stick. Here is the figure after a couple coats of green primer. Now we are going to start with Bulbasaur's skin color, which is a greeny blue, not to be confused with a bluey green. Make sure you don't mix too much water into your paints or it won't stick to the primer. Now let's get our brush wet and start slapping on some paint, being careful to miss the eyes and skin barnacles. Don't be afraid to be a bit messy, but make sure you don't go back over anything you've painted before until it dries. It can take a couple of coats to get all the primer covered. Now don't forget to take a break once you have finished a layer of paint. It will take a few minutes to dry fully. Grab a drink, snack, or listen to some music in between to pass the time quicker, or even use a fan to dry your paints. We are still painting Bulbasaur's skin color, as the first layer hasn't fully covered the primer below. Here I did some cleanup on the eye cause I covered it with skin color, but this show you mistakes can be fixed. Time to paint the little barnacles. Grab your dark green and carefully paint your bumpy bits. After a couple of layers on the bumpy bits, we will also paint the bulb on Bulbasaur back. Starting at the base of the bulb, we cover the bottom third with our dark green. Don't forget to paint the seams where the bulb leaves meet. Bulbasaur is looking closer to finished. Still a little messy, but it's starting to look good. I chose to leave a little bit of the primer showing on my barnacles, but if you want, you can fully paint yours to cover the light green. Now we are going to add those lines between the leaves. Be careful not to paint over your skin when you paint with the dark green. I switched to a smaller brush so I have more control over where my paint goes. I'm going to use my fan to speed up my drying time between layers. Here I added some lighter green than the dark green to the middle of the Bulby on the back. You can use white or yellow to make the dark green lighter. Time to get the white out and paint those little Lechonks again, being careful to not get the white anywhere but the Lechonks. Make sure to do a couple passes on your Chonkies with the white to fully cover the primer. Now it's time for the glary staries. Grab a smaller brush if you have one, and the white paint, and we are going to outline and fill in the eyes. Once you have covered the primer with white, it's time to move on to the iris. We do a bit of cleanup with the skin color around parts we were messy. Now we water down some red a lot. This will help if we make a mistake and we need to clean it up. Now with our watered down red paint, we can paint on the iris carefully. Then once we are happy with our outline, we can use a thicker paint to cover the white. I just noticed some spots on Bulbasaur's face that weren't fully covered, so I went back over to get full coverage over the primer. Now this is the last coat of red I put on the eyes. I made sure to be very careful with this last layer as I want the eyes to look good and stand out. Now it's on to the glamour shots. Look at all our hard work paying off with this little cutie. I couldn't be happier with how Bulbasaur turned out. Time to put him in the display Pokeball that they come with. Now if you want your own Bulbasaur, you can get the files from Rin Art on Cults 3D, or you can get the physical figure from Matt's 3D Print and Paint. Like and subscribe if you want to see more figures painted like this. Comment what one you want to see next.